The van that I have, the team around me, are just the best ever. They give you that sense of security. Roger Waters once controlled everything. In Pink Floyd, he decided what they played, how they looked, even who they could talk to. But the worst betrayal happened in secret courtrooms during the 1980s. Waters tried to legally destroy Pink Floyd and leave his bandmates financially ruined. He compared them to fake Beatles. He spied on their recording sessions. For years Gilmour said nothing, but now he's revealed how Waters' obsession with power turned their brotherhood into a nightmare that haunts them still. David John Gilmour was born on March 6, 1946 in Grantchester Meadows, Cambridge, a village known for its close ties to the university. His father Douglas was a senior lecturer in zoology at Cambridge University and his mother Sylvia worked as a teacher and film editor. Their home was only 2 miles from the historic spires of Cambridge, a world surrounded by academic brilliance. But David was never drawn to that world. By the age of 13, he had begun skipping classes to play guitar in local coffee shops. On his 14th birthday, he chose a $30 Spanish guitar instead of the textbooks his parents hoped for. Cool. Reports from 1960 described him as musically obsessed and academically negligent. By 1962, he was sneaking out of his bedroom window at night to jam in Cambridge folk clubs, returning home at 2 o'clock in the morning with sore fingers and parents who were losing patience. Before joining Pink Floyd, Gilmour had an unusual career that few fans know about. Between 1967 and 1969, he worked as a fashion model in London, earning $15 per shoot when the average weekly wage was $20. His 6 feet 1 inch frame, sharp cheekbones, and striking blue eyes landed him work with Carnaby Street boutiques and underground magazines. He modeled psychedelic shirts, velvet jackets, and even women's scarves for experimental campaigns. The money allowed him to buy his first Fender Stratocaster in 1968, the guitar he would later use on Comfortably Numb. Photographer Terry O'Neill confirmed that Gilmour earned more than $500 from modeling, enough to purchase professional amplifiers as well. Although he later admitted that he felt embarrassed during photo sessions, he learned how to use body language to express emotion, a skill that became part of his powerful stage presence. His life changed long before Pink Floyd. When he first met Roger Syd Barrett in 1957 at Cambridge High School for Boys, both were 11 and they connected immediately over their love of guitars. Barrett taught Gilmour advanced fingerpicking that he had learned from his father, a jazz musician. By 1962, the two were inseparable, spending weekends in Barrett's room experimenting with homemade electronics and tape loops. During those years, Gilmour also saw the first signs of Barrett's illness. Sometimes his friend would sit silently staring at guitar strings for hours without playing. Their friendship collapsed in 1968 when Gilmour was asked to replace him in Pink Floyd. Barrett felt betrayed, believing that his closest friend had stolen his band. Their last real meeting came in 1975, when Barrett appeared unexpectedly in the studio, overweight by 40 pounds and with a shaved head, asking Gilmour quietly, "Why did you steal my band?" Though Gilmour rejected the academic path of his parents, he was far from ordinary in school. In 1965, Cambridge University admissions officers were astonished by his performance in modern languages. He scored 95% in French exams and spoke fluent Spanish and Italian during interviews. Professors expected him to thrive, but instead of taking part in academic discussions, he filled notebook margins with song lyrics and chords. His French professor, Dr. Margaret Williams, recalled that he could translate complex poetry with ease, yet preferred to practice guitar during tutorials. He memorized entire collections of French verse not for essays but to use the rhythms for musical phrasing. This ability later influenced Pink Floyd's sound as he used the patterns of different languages to shape the emotion in his guitar solos, making them feel almost like spoken words. At 16 in 1962, he formed a band called Joker's Wild. They auditioned for EMI Records where talent scout Dick Rowe, the same man who had once rejected the Beatles, dismissed them as amateur noise and advised Gilmour to find a real job. The rejection cut so deep that he stopped playing guitar for 3 months and sold his amplifier to pay rent. Bandmates remembered him crying after the audition, convinced his dream was over. In 1965, he joined a blues rock group called Bullet, earning $2 per night, playing Cambridge pubs. Their first gig at the Red Lion ended in chaos when drunk customers threw bottles, forcing the band to escape through a back window. Gilmour later said the experience taught him how brutal the music world could be. Determined never to face that humiliation again, he began practicing up to 12 hours a day. Everything shifted in December 1967 when Pink Floyd, struggling with Syd Barrett's declining mental state, invited Gilmour to join as a fifth member. The idea was not to replace Barrett but to support him on stage, as his erratic behavior was making live shows impossible. Gilmour, only 21, suddenly found himself standing next to a childhood friend whose mind was slipping away. By then Barrett was often unable to perform, sometimes staring blankly at his guitar during entire concerts. One of the most haunting moments for Gilmour came during the recording of See Emily Play in 1967. Barrett had invited him to the studio, but when Gilmour arrived, his friend looked at him with no recognition at all. Later, Gilmour said that was when he changed, marking that exact day as the moment Barrett's mind truly broke. Though the song went on to become Pink Floyd's first top 10 hit in June 1967, those close to Barrett knew it was also